Okay, evening everybody. I'm not saying good tonight.
Not yet.
Okay, evening everybody. I'm not
I
saying
don't
good
see.
for tonight because
We're
it
not
isn't a
live.
good night.
We're not live.
It says live.
It says live to me
Not
too.
fair. Why am I
It's
saying
live.
not fair?
It's live, yeah. So here we are. It's TFC Open Mic, Season 2, Episode 34. And Mutiny on the Bounty is what I've called this one. I wasn't sure what to call it, so I paused for a while. And I think that's probably just sums things up. Anyway, welcome in the chat. Hi, everybody, and welcome on the panel. Who have we got? Let's have a look up to the bottom. We've got Venom, because I know him anyway.
Hey,
She's here. How you doing, buddy?
doing good.
Robin, how you doing?
Hey.
Wrong thing. I shouldn't have said that, should I? But Peter, how you?
Doing all right.
It's Merry Wind, isn't it?
Yeah.
How you doing, buddy? Jeff's here as well, and Brian.
Yo.
Okie dokie.
Salt packet.
With salt, with a bucket of salt. Yes, enough to said. Listen, it's the open mic and that sort of stuff, but clearly we know the subject for the moment is, well, it should be the main subject, which we'll use for most of the time, is obviously going to be the bounty, the pros and cons of it and that sort of stuff, which may be slightly weighted. But what we'll use, I think we'll do it sort of systematically, and I think we'll use the slides that we used from Tuesday's show, if you don't mind. And from that, then we'll basically look at a slide, and then we'll talk about our experiences of what was actually on the slide, which is taken directly from the brief, and then we'll talk about our experience of how we found it, if that's right with everybody.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so yeah, so that was the slide that obviously I put up on Tuesday's show. Okay. And Ford's in chat. Hi, moderating. Cheers, mate. Thanks, buddy. So we'll take it forward. Like I said, we had quite a few bits and bobs, and so I've taken some of the slides out, obviously, because you don't want to see that. So this was obviously the splurb, okay? And then the top bit in here was basically our wording of our interpretation of obviously like a summary of what it was. So clearly, look, a bounty an event where players can obviously hit each other, bases, that basically is, loot and plunder bounty and spend it on tech at the end of the event, okay? Bear in mind, we'll just come to the end of day one, or we will have live on this show, because it'll be the 1 hour mark for me, so I'm going to have a little look. Hey, Cyber, how you doing?
Hello.
How you doing, buddy? Yeah, so it says here players can obviously protect their winnings by climbing through a series of checkpoints. There are 3 for today, okay? I don't think it's 3 every day, but there's 3 for today. To secure their bounty. All the prizes available, the prize is available to all people, obviously, but obviously it says here, this is the bit I love, the dedicated pirate who manages to rise through the ranks, okay, will claim the shiniest spoils. We'll bear that in mind. Right. Okie dokie. So, Robin, do you want to sort of lead? Sorry. Just because I know you're probably the most up to date on all this. So, I just think.
What's my naughty word allowance for tonight?
Your naughty word allowance is probably going to be quite a high one. I don't think I might even set it, but you know.
No, that's all right.
Go on.
Okay, so the overview that we were given was that basically you joined, you obtained unsecured bounty. You were able to upgrade your OP generator to generate additional unsecured bounty. Unsecured bounty is bounty that couldn't be stolen. Excuse me, unsecured bounty was bounty that could be stolen, secured bounty could not. Basically, we jumped around the map looking for your bounty player targets. You destroy target outposts to steal unsecured bounty. We've kind of found out that that's not necessarily the case right now. You can actually steal, actually destroy somebody's outpost and lose bounty if you don't get over or close to the full 100%. Then you reach checkpoints and unsecured bounty becomes secured. That piece is working correctly. If you hit the 750 mark, then it went ahead and banked that bounty, and then you started from 0. That is a key point, which we'll touch on here in just a little bit.
Come to, yes.
Yeah, there are 3 secured bounty checkpoints each day. Most people, myself included, figured that if you hit the 750 and then your counter went to 2 whatever it was, that you would go ahead and then hit the next checkpoint, and that it was cumulative, and that is not the case. You basically get reset back to 0 for your bounty counter once you bank, and that's a key piece with respects to being able to hit other players and take their bounty.
Huge.
I actually did an article encouraging people to go ahead and take part in this, because the way that Kix has kind of explained it and said it, and everybody was under the impression, was that you could never hit down. So you could never lose bounty to somebody that had more bounty than you. And unfortunately, that's not the case, because using Mark as an example, if I have 1,000 bounty and that 1,000 bounty gets banked to 0, I now start with the 0 counter. If Mark just started the bounty and he's level 52 pirate and he has 200 in bounty, then I'm able to actually go and hit him. So that is an issue that needs to be addressed and changed.
I've jumped to that slide, right?
Okay, yeah. So
this is live. This is my actual figures at the moment.
Yep. So your first checkpoint should have been 750. The second one should be 1350. So it's not total. You have to earn 750. Then you had to start again and earn 1350. And then after that, you would have to start again and earn 3750, which is very hard based on the way that the coding has been done and bounty is being paid out. Now, we all know that this is new functionality. We all know that not everything is going to be perfect. We have run into situations, for example, last night I hit a base that was worth 100 and something to me, beat the base, killed the OP, and got nothing. And then I hit another base where I went in there, killed the OP, the base was worth 100 and something points, I think it was, and I actually lost bounty. We also had issues where I was watching last night where Holsh hit a couple of bases, where there's supposed to be those governors in place that if you do less than X amount or more than X amount, then you lose bounty, aka preps. But those seem to be having some issues as well. And so we know there are issues with the way that the bounty is calculated. We know there are issues with the locator. You could essentially click on the locator. It could show that Mark's worth 200 to me. He could be, and rightfully so, if he's out hitting bases and loses bounty, then technically, I'm not going to gain all of that bounty because he lost some in between, me hitting attack or not. But there are some issues with the way that that's calculated. So I know people have sent tickets in. We have also sent tickets in. So hopefully those things will be addressed.
Yeah, so basically from this screen then, so that is my screen, and that basically stops for today. Okay, because bear in mind, if you get the end of the 24-hour period, then your counter goes to 0. Okay, so your lock store is your lock store, but your counter will be reset to 0. So whilst I've got basically unsecured bounty there at 1374, I need, as you can see, nearly 2,500 more points to get to the 3,750 to lock the third lot in. Well, in 1 hour and 7 minutes to go, I spent with a with a Grace Monkey crew on, I spent 30 minutes chasing targets that basically didn't exist because everybody was chasing the same targets. And to me, it's a little like one of those pyramid lotteries. It's great if you're at the top. Well, actually, it's not. It's great. It's not great at the top at all because there's no targets to hit. But it's also not great further down because there's not enough people doing it. And because there's not enough people doing it, we're all chasing the same targets.
Yeah.
And outside of each base, I've seen probably at best 1 or 2 people waiting for someone to pop their bubble. Watching the counter countdown, that sort of stuff. I've been writing down times of when people are going to pop their bubble sort of stuff, so I can actually be prepared. And I've turned up and there's 2 or 3 other ships there as well. 2 or 3 people from another alliance. And actually, I've seen one where there was 3 people from the same alliance waiting to jump it.
Yeah, I just
What
Yeah,
can be
and it's
worse if you're sitting at 2,000 points, so just underneath the, say, the second secure point.
Yep.
You can't do nothing except lose points because there'll be no one anywhere that has 1 or 2 more than you.
Yes.
I sat for about 4 hours today at 2,000 points, being unable to do anything and just having like 5 or 6 people sitting outside my base waiting. It's very poorly designed, that.
Well, it's the frustrating thing is that, in theory, it sounds really good. Go out, hit bases, steal things. You can generate bounty, and in theory that sounds great. But the problem is that you can't generate bounty while you're in a bubble. And so, if you have the ability to generate 4,114 bounty,
4114, yeah,
4114 throughout the day. Well, if there are not very many people participating, you can't, as you said, you can't go out like last night. There was about an hour where I could not hit anybody. I went on a little tear, lost a lot, won a lot, had a lot of fun, enjoyed it, but I got to the point where there was nowhere for me to hit. So the only way for me to actually make bounty to hit any of those checkpoints was to generate it. And you can't do that when you're in a bubble. And even if you get your bubble popped and your base is still dead, somebody else comes along, they start the bubble again, you're no longer generating. So they need to look at that and figure out a way, how do you have the ability to go ahead and generate your bounty, but not be constantly penalized by other people playing the game. They want people to hit, they want people to earn bounty. They've given us the opportunity to go ahead and generate that bounty, but the bounty generation essentially ends up being moot if you're in an active sector where you're constantly being hit.
It's not even in an active sector. I'm in a pretty inactive sector, but because the locator goes for multiple sectors on either side, there's some big hitters that can hit me. There's some okay hitters and there's some weak hitters, but like it's just like you mentioned, it's a combination of what you and Peter mentioned. I went to bed at, let's say, 11 o'clock last night with about almost 600 bounty. And I got hit 2 minutes after my bubble popped, and I got hit 4 minutes after that bubble popped, and they were both full kills. So I was down like 100 bounty when I woke up because I wasn't generating bounty for 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And that also ties into the fact that your base is only half repaired when you come out of your 100% bubble, but I think that might be a topic for later on in the show.
Yeah, I was the same. I went to bed at some ungodly hour this morning after playing last night, and I had 1,611 in bounty, and I had a 4-hour bubble. Knew I wouldn't be generating that bubble for the 4 hours that I had it, but I expected maybe a little bit, and I didn't log on until about 1 o'clock my time today, and I had a whopping 1,634. So yeah, for that 8 hours, or for the 2 sets of 4 bubbles for 8 hours, my base wasn't doing anything, wasn't generating anything, and bubbles were falling and just not getting anywhere.
Yeah, it's crazy. Okay, Mary Wynn, do you got anything you want to say at the moment?
I guess I'm just overall disappointed with it. I mean, we are given the opportunity to generate bounty.
Yeah.
But how can we generate that bounty when we're in a bubble? And then right after that, we get hit. And then 4 more hours, we get hit again.
Yeah, so I can definitely confirm that, and I've checked that today because I did some testing with a couple of people, definitely confirm, whether it's intentional or not, that when you are sat in a bubble, you do not generate. Both Liam and I tested that for over an hour, and I then left mine bubbled and he unbubbled and that sort of stuff. It was fine. Then he left, or his base was left dead. It didn't generate. We then fixed the OP completely by coining it, and then it still was not generating for another hour and that sort of stuff. And then we emptied opened the bubble up, and then it just carried on where it was. It's not as if you're storing up generated bits and bobs, because it's basically 1 point per 20 seconds. I think it works out. We did a bit of math earlier on in the year. In the day, it's about 1 point every 20 seconds. So if you're going to work for the day, I understand that, but people do have to live.
Oh yeah.
And you can't just sit. Well, this thing's going to end on Monday, so when the people have vested a huge amount, they've got a real-time job to go and do. They're going to be pretty frustrated come Monday on the 4th day.
Yeah, they're going to lose everything they've got.
Well, they certainly aren't going to get 20K.
But in regard,
well, they'll lose anything that's not banked.
Sure. So yeah.
So I don't know if anybody can remember.
Is that before you go to bed Sunday night and get up and go to work Monday morning, you better have everything you had better have. If let's say you're going for the 20K prize, then obviously before you go to bed, you better have 20K banked and secured, because everything that's not secured is going to be gone when you log on later.
Yeah.
With the bubble thing, I sat and I watched a base for about 30 minutes. They were bubbled, but still generating bounty.
You want to teach me how to do that?
That doesn't make
Really?
sense.
Yeah, really?
Are you basing
That's
that
not
on
what
the
happened to me.
Are you basing that on the locator or clicking on their base, or are
On their
you?
base. It went up every minute or two by one. And I
Well, that's not happened here at all.
Yeah, that may be a visual thing, and you know what? That may actually explain the issue where you click on the base and it says that they're worth 150, and you hit them and you get 0. So maybe visually, the locator base display is still counting in the background, but it's not actually crediting that bounty to the actual base, and so that may explain why those numbers are off.
Well, I asked somebody to check mine, and mine wasn't doing it, and every else in my sector we checked, there wasn't doing it. It was just this base out of sector.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that sounds very weird to me too.
It is a bit strange, I have to say. Yeah. Now, a couple of things that I've noticed as well. So I was watching just before in the preview show, and Brian was there with me and that sort of stuff. So we were having a little laugh, and I was just showing him what the situation is for me at the moment. And so we went across to the PNS guys, and Rainer's obviously alliance and that sort of stuff. So somebody jumped in. Can't remember what the alliance was anyway, and basically hit Rainer's base. So we thought, well, this is good. We'll watch this live and that sort of stuff. So we put it up. We're watching it, and we're going, oh, he's not going to make it. Look, he's not even going to get 50%. He's going to lose some he's going to lose some points there, and the way it goes. And then he come out, and the base wasn't even bubbled, and it was like 44% or something like that, and the base wasn't bubbled. So then coined his fleet, and he went back in again. He failed again. But the point is that he should have lost points, which he didn't, because I checked on the bar, because he was also one of my bookmarks. So I actually checked on his base, not the bookmark bar, but on his base, and he was able to go back in and hit the base, and it was clearly well over 25%. It was up in the 40s, and it was very close to 50% dead. And so that shouldn't happen. She should have been bubbled, and she should have gained from that.
I had one last night. Holt actually hit me last night, and my base was completely dead, and we were out hitting different targets in different sectors. And by the way, he was giving me all the hard ones, and he was taking all the easy ones. But, we were out hitting targets and stuff, and he totally completely killed my base. I mean, there was nothing. And 5 minutes later, somebody hits my base that's dead, and I pop my bubble. And 5 minutes later, somebody hit my base that was dead with nothing in there, and I lost 147 bounty.
So it's apt that George is coming, because we're going to pick up this slide. I'm not doing all the slides because I'm just doing some key ones here. So we'll have a look at this one here. If you wouldn't mind, Robin, just taking us through this one.
Yep. You're not able to attack members of your own alliance for bounty, which is kind of annoying.
So why do they come up in the locator?
Yeah, why do they come up and everybody that I can hit?
That's all I had was in my alliance. My locator was on. They were all in sector. I know that's not an issue, but it was all my alliance. There was nobody else, and that's not the case. When I went to the leaderboard, there was plenty of other people. I
threatened to actually beat everybody out of my alliance last night just so I could get some points. But anyway, so you can't attack members of your alliance.
That's an idea, actually.
And here's the big one. And I have to do a public mea culpa on this. You cannot gain bounty from players who have less bounty than you. That's the way that it's supposed to work, but it doesn't actually properly work that way. It's the unsecured bounty piece. So if I've got 500 bounty that's secured, and I have 100 bounty that is not secured, because I've only got 100 bounty that's unsecured, if I go and hit a level 53 player who has just started and who has just been seeded with his 500 bounty, then I actually can go ahead and hit him, and I can actually take 20% of his unsecured bounty. The way that this was kind of talked about, represented, and especially in the article that I put on the forum about, give it a go, you can't get hit by other people. The way this is coded is that the whole check and balance that was put in place that was supposed to prevent higher level players from farming lower level players is basically now moot. Because as soon as you secure bounty, your current available bounty hits 0. That's what Kix is using to calculate who you can hit and who you can get bounty from. So to drag this out to Monday, if Mark's got 5,000 in bounty, that's all secured, and he's got 100 in bounty that's not secured, he can go zing somebody. As soon as he banks his last amount, he can sit there and go out on the map and look for all the little guys that don't have everything banked or don't have all of their bounty banked yet, and he can basically farm those guys for that amount of bounty. And that is fundamentally a problem. This has been represented as a way for everybody to have a chance. When Kix was on the show the other night, they specifically said that this is not based on base level, this is not based on fleet level, this is based on the amount of bounty that you have, and so therefore it was supposed to be a somewhat even playing field, and it's not.
I don't think that was ever that clear, because Hefe and I on, what was it, the Wednesday show, and then I said it again on the Thursday show.
Yep, I listened to that.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the things that we were concerned about, because they actually said in the release unsecured bounty, and the problem, I mean, that was the first problem that we thought of was, well, what happens when you hit a checkpoint and you have little to no bounty? And the thing is, I asked it 3 or 4 times, at least 3 times on that live show, and they just flatly ignored the question, and that concerned me even more after that. Because I think it actually was intended the entire time when they released it. I think they knew it.
There's a
I mean, between that and where they put the opt-in button when you're trying to launch a fleet, shenanigans is what I want to call.
That UI guy, oh boy.
It's a fundamental problem with how it's made. If you're at the top, say the top 10, you've only got 9 people to hit. That's it. You can't hit anyone else.
And they're at work for the day.
Yeah.
You've had it.
You can sort of see why they've done it, but the way they have done it, it's made it impossible for the little players, while the big players who
there's
want
a simple
to have...
fix. No, there's a simple fix. Their whole checkpoint system should have been redone, where the first checkpoint, if you're going to start us out at 500, the first checkpoint 600, then 900, then 1200, and just go up in segments. So that way, there's the windows are much smaller.
Not the massive jumps, yeah.
Yeah, the windows are much smaller. So if they did want to use just unsecured, right, you'd still have all these hits going on, but you had a much easier way to progress, because right now, like, I don't know if anybody's going to actually hit that 20 grand by Monday.
I'm going to show you something in a minute. I don't think
there's
going to be a case of that's going to happen.
I'll be lucky to hit 750.
The problem with banking, and the calculation is using the total is what's flawed. Because if I've got that 5,000 that's banked and I've got 100, they should not be calculating it just based on my 100. They need to figure in total so that I can't go out there and club baby seals. There's got to be a way.
But if they did that without the generation, you're not going to have anybody moving up. You won't have a single person to hit.
No, I understand that. I understand that. It's not just one little piece of this that's broken, but it's a very big piece that's broken. If they don't want this to go the way of the fat, where people gave up after the first one and said that it was impossible and people no longer played it, if they want to make this monthly, and if they want the participation from the players, and they want people to stay in the game, be retained, grow, and have the opportunity to do this, they have got to look at this, because the way it is right now, I can tell you, I have got people in my alliance that have stopped. I have got comms is screaming. I have got, I should say there are, comms is screaming. We've seen it on the page. We've seen it all over the forum. It's just, I understand it's new. I understand that we have growing pains, but they've got to address this.
So it should have been addressed. Yeah, it should have been addressed before this even started, and it wasn't. It was blatantly ignored, as George said. And this, okay, I'm bad at PvP. I don't coin. I'm about as far from the target audience for this thing as you can expect to get. But they said that even if you have any skill at all, if you can defend your base or whatever, everybody will get a door prize. And that's a nice thing, and that's a good way to, you'll go and you'll get hit, but then you'll get a prize. But the way this has turned out, so few were even going to get to 750, like Jeff was mentioning. I had 720 or whatever, and I thought, maybe I'll be okay. And then I had some level 128 with 1500 bounty. Not 1500, it was like 1200 or whatever. Like he came in and hit me with rages and a flag all skulled. And he said, I'm sorry, but I needed to hit you to get points, and there wasn't anyone else to hit. Like that, making it unsecured broke a fundamental promise that they had at the start of this. And no, it's not false advertising or bait and switch. All you want to be paralegals, stop. But just it's the trust that the players had that everyone would do well and everyone would get something, and it's supposed to be inclusive and this and that, but that's not the case. Resetting the counter means you'll climb up a ladder and then you'll get knocked down, but the other guy can reloop, get his checkpoint, come back and hit you again. I like to call it a Mobius ladder because guy just runs around and hits you again. It doesn't make any sense. It broke one of the major promises and fundamental tenets of bounty. You can't hit up. So if you weren't as skilled a player, you'd be safe. You're not. You're never safe. As soon as any half-decent player hits a checkpoint, they're going to come back and they're going to hit you and they're going to get knocked down again. And you'll barely be able to get your bounty up to the first checkpoint before they hit you even again. I'd have liked to see it off of total bounty rather than making the smaller checkpoints, because the problem at that point still exists where you almost get to a checkpoint and then someone who's halfway up a checkpoint will still come in and hit you because they can, because the system allows it. Like it's such a big fundamental flaw, and they knew and they shipped it this way, and they were told. And
I can't 100% say that they knew or that they intended it, and the reason that I say that,
Robin.
No, hang on, is they put a lot of really good things in there for really low points. Now, if you think about it, the first checkpoint is 750. Look at how many prizes that were out there were for 750. Look at how many prizes there were to where basically if you hit 750 every day, then you had the ability to go out and get stuff. So, I could see it if all of the prizes were like 5,000 or 7,000 or something like that. But they put this stuff in there at the low price and put the checkpoints kind of relative to the prize prices.
You'll have to hit 750. That's the problem. There's going to be so many people.
There's an even bigger fundamental flaw in the whole thing, in that you can't progress if the 3-hour timer keeps on flipping. I mean, you just can't. The dock takes 2 hours. If you want to get to that 750, you got to hit that 750. I mean, there's a very easy, probably one-line code that you could have put in that would have done a double check on both the full total and the amount that you have unsecured, and did like a ladder system from that. I mean, I can come up with it in like 10 minutes, right? And when they ignored the question in several areas,
and
they've always had a problem with.
What happened there?
It skipped out for a second, but I guess we're all still here.
Yeah, still going live.
I think
it didn't skip out on me. But I mean,
there might be...
if they want, Go ahead.
Somebody say something.
Rum started talking.
There might be prizes under 750, but I own them all.
Well, I mean, that's it for big. But Laredo just posted something in chat. The players that starting today and tomorrow will have a huge advantage, since there possibly will be many there possibly will maybe bases to hit. And I have to counter that and say no, because this first player that joins that gets seated with his 500 bounty, if he joins tomorrow, is going to have this huge bullseye on his back for anybody that just banked bounty.
Yeah, and anybody that started
anywhere near close to banking bounty. It's 3 bounty a minute, so an hour. So within the first 3 hours, of not being bubbled, which is another thing, like there's a lot of time for a lot of people to come around and get there. And that even assumes that people don't hit their checkpoints as they're going through the normal course of bounty, that then hit 0, that can go and hit this new player. There's just a lot of problems inherent. And also there's repair times in general. The 100% 4-hour bubble, your turrets are half repaired and your dock is barely up and your guard is not even close to ship shape. Like, you're dead if they have any skill at all.
the currency is flawed right now because it's just not circulating even close to well enough to get people.
George, they're spending my currency quite well.
You not that kind of currency, you ding-a-ling. I mean, come on, Kev. I mean,
No, they like our currency. It spins perfectly well. Theirs doesn't, but ours.
Can I just say a couple of things? What I've noticed. Right, there's two things that we should have done. Okay, two things you could have done. No one hit a single target. We'd have already made 12k plus because it's 4,114 per day. So you've already got a ship, every single person. That's never going to happen. Okay. Second, there are 2 people in the global board above 5k. Okay, 2 people. That's it. Now, all the people I know in PLS are over a day now, so they didn't make it. And it's the same old thing with, I would like to say now, look, I'm basically stopping. I'm probably not going to go much further in that sort of stuff because it's the 2 ships I wanted. I may get 1, I don't know, but I don't have 4 days to sit here like I have today to do this. It has been a long day, and I've been hunting at targets, and I've used up all my grease monkeys and that sort of stuff because it's expensive as well. And I'm out of tokens and that sort of stuff. And base fixing is not cheap, and that sort of stuff. And nor is your base fleet as well. So this has been 4 times, I reckon. I've been writing it down, about 4 times more expensive than it is doing actually my raid. Okay, so that's one point. There are only 2 people now, so a lot of people tomorrow will drop out. There'll be even less targets available tomorrow. Ever decreasing circles. Basically, I don't think anybody is going to hit 20k at all. And thirdly, I didn't fucking want 2 raids in a month, and now I've got it. I'm really pissed.
And here's the thing: is they said in that live stream that they wanted about roughly around a 10% rate for top prizes, right? And I think Rampage said on the forums that the people that were on the first day are going to get something extra on Monday. I mean, the whole thing's a mess.
That was to fix because if you and your opponent were in different alliances, the bounty giving was screwed up. I think that's there. Can I draw?
There was an issue. I can do this because went through the ticket system. Monday, if you hit any random player, it had a high possibility you were going to get nothing. I hit 10 bases in a row, spent about 300 coin because they were difficult bases, and my baser isn't cheap, and I got 0 for it. Everything was worth 130 to 140 points, and the only thing that support are giving back is, I think, 150 points they said for Monday.
Yeah,
and 25 coin.
I make a habit of not putting in tickets. Right? I'm pretty supportive. I'm pretty sort of understanding with things and that sort of stuff. And when it's not going to be perfect, I'm going to wait, and I'm not going to start for the first 4 hours. And so I didn't start about. Well, I might say my counter is going to finish in about 25 minutes. So that's the time I started yesterday. And I thought I'll let it settle down because there's going to be a few issues. No problem at all. But I know you get 24 hours and that sort of stuff. So I wasn't really concerned. But the point is, I am 730 coins into this already.
Ouch.
It's not happening anymore.
Yep.
Damn, man.
I mean, I spent $20 last night, and this actually pushed me to.
That's 5 raids for me. 5 raids.
Yeah. I mean, I went out and hit bases last night, and I had fun. I hit more bases last night, I think, than I've done, and up and down, and not completely understanding the mechanics of how it was awarded and that kind of stuff. But it didn't matter what I'd win 100 on one, lose on the other because the way of the calculations were done and everything else, and basically I've hit this brick wall where I can't get over 1600.
Yeah. So 730 coins is gone. 730 coins in 24 hours. If you think I'm doing that for 4 days for the next 12 months, once a month, it ain't happening.
Kolsch is bringing up a point in chat here that I noticed as well. Yeah. Is that you were saying that the highest in the leaderboard is 5,000 something? That's what they had at one point.
No, it's
Their
not
actual bounty that they have right.
It's
well,
not
this is the seasonal bounty. The seasonal bounty is the highest that they got this season. The actual bounty that they have now, which would be spendable, is 4,200.
Yeah, correct. The top person is 4,200.
Yep.
Yeah, 4,283, and it's Knuckle Dragger from PNLS.
Yeah, I'm looking at it as well. And then Legs is next. And he's in my sector, and we've had a good chat about various things. All our guys, Cromwell's next as well. I've been hitting him and that sort of stuff. There's some really well names and that sort of well-known names and stuff, but nobody has hit the 5K barrier.
Oh, and just to point out, I'm sitting 45th there with 3,400 points. I cannot get more. That is
No, you can't.
That is as high as I possibly can, because again, there's not enough people for you to hit.
I think honestly, I really think that the generation is the thing that's bugged, because had that been working nonstop, bubble, dead, anything, right? Which I think was what was intended. Then any time that you find somebody, there would be more currency in for circulation, and there's not right now.
No, there's
not. I mean, and that's notwithstanding some of the other, things that I've seen reported, because there's some really weird stuff that's gotten reported. There's weird stuff that I've put tickets in for, because yes, I will put in tickets, because I was hitting somebody, literally came out of his base. It said 355 bounty, right? No, 363. I got 155 from him, right? He got out, hit his neighbor, his bubble popped. I hit him, killed him, and left. And instead of getting the 363, I got 155. He was still in the base, hitting the other base. So there was no change. Like, he didn't hit, a safety point or anything. He was still in the middle of the hit. So I should have gotten the 363. I got 155 instead. I mean, that's just... I don't understand how this works,
So let me ask you this, George. We can make 4,112 if you have any time where you're not in a bubble and you can generate it. So is the answer to make generation happen and maybe raise the price on the prices or lower the generation amount so that is running 24/7?
Yeah,
at this point,
the issue with it running 24/7 is that yes, you may get more currency in, but your prizes are going to be very, very drastically changed to the point where we're going to have the same issue, because if you're generating it constantly, everyone's going to have the same amount of points if they start at the same time.
But at least you can get prizes.
Right, but the thing is if you start, it's a 4-day event, right? And say you upped all the way to Europe top level, right? That's like 18,000 total points that you can get. So you're not going to get top prize. 19, I don't know, I'm just trying to run it in rounding up in my head. But anyway, so 19,000 points in 4 days if you started right at the beginning of bounty and went out, hit somebody, let somebody hit you, and you stayed flat for 4 days. Excuse me. The most you're going to get, 19, maybe 20,000, right? If you you can't hit right away and get 1,000. But anyway, so like 19,000 bounty, right? And that's saying you're not going to sign in and do anything for 4 days. You can get one really good prize or a couple of the lower prizes, right? Which I think is what they might have wanted to have done, because I think they wanted the top players, especially with the warning that they said you can't claim, the single one twice, right? I think they actually expected players to get way more bounty at the end of this to be able to actually buy stuff like a store rather than just getting one big prize, right?
George, I got a question.
Mm-hmm.
This is all fine and well. They're going to come back Monday and say, whoops, these people are not getting as much bounty as they want to. Let's up the bounty.
And then all does it work?
Who can get it?
Or all it work? Yeah.
TSM, can you flip back a slide?
They're not going to be able to do that. They're not going to be able to do it on the last day. It's just not.
Do you think they're going to come into work tomorrow and get it done?
No, I think what they might do. I think what they might do is they might come in on Monday and go, okay, we're gonna give a multiplier to all the points. So if you have 3,000 points, you're gonna end up with 18,000.
But even still, there's a couple things in the middle. There's a couple things in the middle I want to draw the attention to in the middle of that slide. You must destroy the enemy's outpost to earn bounty. Get 20% of unsecured bounty for destroying the outpost. Like that bullet point, 20% of unsecured. That's right. But if you attack a player and the outpost is still destroyed from a previous combat, you will not earn any bounty from the battle. Now,
untrue.
That's untrue. It is absolutely untrue.
Technically, I should have messaged my attackers to see if this was the case. But okay, so I got 100%, right? I'm dead. And I did not start repairing. I was out on the map. I just saw myself die. I got bubbled. I got 100% for sure. I quit. I didn't start repairing. I just logged out of the game. And then I went to bed. my outpost is dead because it hasn't started repairing. So I got attacked twice during the 10-hour period which I was gone, and I lost bounty in those hits.
Because of the
so
4-hour rule. So the only thing that was fixed was your dock.
Yeah, the only thing that was fixing was my dock, and that's where the inaccuracy is. Your outpost is 100% dead, but I think what they do is they count, have you been damaged? Yes. Then, is your outpost at 0%? And if both of those are true, then you lose bounty. Because my outpost was at 0%, but it didn't get damaged because it was already flat.
I think you hit
nothing else got hit, but the dock, because the dock auto repairs, but nothing else does.
I think that's the glitch that you got. I think that's the glitch that you got hit with, because I hit a bunch of flat bases that didn't get anything, but I've seen people hit bases where the dock, and that's the only thing that's repaired, is there. The OP's dead. They'll go in and hit the base, and they'll get bounty, full bounty from hitting a dock.
Yeah. So that's been reported.
And I'll lose that bounty, so I can't even go flat and go hide.
Right. No, because you've actually, well, you couldn't. You're right, and technically you could, because you could just log off for the night, not go back into your base, and that bit you'd be like, sod it for tonight. I'm not going to gain anything out of it. I'm not generating, but I'm not going to lose anything. The problem is, though, like you said, you get hit twice, and actually you go to bed, you wake up, and you've got double hits less of the quantity of what you should have done when you logged off that night. You know, so it's not as if you can just go, well, don't worry about it. I'll carry on for the last 6 hours. It's not possible.
I actually want to have people take a look at some stuff too, like if they can go back and look through their hits, or if they know the people that hit them, right? Because I had, I looked through the first couple of hits that I did, or that I did and got hit, and I was finding that the percentages were not accurate. Like the last hit that I got, I'd hit somebody, I'd gotten up to, I got hit, went down to 484, I hit somebody, I got up to 606, and got hit immediately after I left that base, right? And he took 125. So I was like, okay, repair on the map and go hit that guy, right? He was worth 176 bounty to me, right? He was already flat, so I couldn't hit him again. But like immediately after he hit me, I went out. He was worth 176, which would work out, if you reverse the math, to just under 900 unsecured bounty. If you take away the 125 he just got from me, that'd be over 700 unsecured bounty. Well, if I was at 606 and he was at 700 plus, how in the hell did he get bounty from me? Weird things like that are happening, and I can't pinpoint any of it because it's so random.
Like you hit a base and you get, say, 204, then you get hit and you lose 234. Or if you go to click on a base to attack it, and you're going to get like 100 and some. But then,
well, it all depends. Yeah.
Hang on, George. Wait a minute.
Go ahead.
I mean, that's what I'm seeing. Is I click on a base and it says win lose. Well, the win is like 100 and some, but then the lose, it's about 71% of my unsecured bounty that I have.
71%? Yes. Good Lord.
The hell?
See, that's funny, because I hit one guy that on the map said, I already told you guys that he came out 355. I got 363. I got 155. It's just like weird stuff is just not, you know. And then there was another guy. This one's a nice little trick. Somebody figured out a way to hide a guard fleet underneath their what do you call it?
Badge.
The badge.
The badge.
Oh,
right?
yes. Yeah,
the only thing I don't understand, the only thing I don't understand is why doesn't the shield show up next to that guard fleet when they're using that badge?
Yeah, I don't get it.
That's what I don't understand. That's bullshit.
There's a couple of things I've noticed. Yeah, exactly. And you're not supposed to hide the diamond on the left-hand side as well, but you can. You can park your Hyperion there. You can do several things. I've even known people that can actually start a certain campaign, a TLC like sort of thing, and their diamond disappears.
Mine disappeared. I have a picture of it. I sent it in. I said, "What the hell, guys?"
Yeah, and there's a certain alliance that's doing that now. They've all got TLCs running, campaigns running. Sorry, like, you know, and there's no diamonds on their bases, because I was like, why that person got medals? Because I actually went down and physically looked at some bases when there's no diamond on there, and then I clocked it. Went, yeah, they're all running campaigns.
Yeah, I caught that last night. I caught the guard ship thing, the guard fleet thing last night. I mean, No,
I get it. There's going to be little nuances like that. I get that. You know, I understand it. The bit I didn't get is the additive piece of the accumulation of getting 5K. you know, and I'm not surprised there's not that many people playing, which is probably, and that's what Kickstarter are going to say. Well, if everybody took part, it'd be fine. Well, your assumption was that everyone was going to want to spend a fortune, but they're not.
They even
Not
tried
the
to
way
make the
it's-
language
the way
and
it's been executed.
Yeah, they even tried to make the language and mechanics more inclusive so that people would join. Oh, you can't hit down. You can only get bounty from someone with more bounty than you, and that's not really true. They didn't say unsecured, but you can also lie in what you don't say.
Yeah, and I mean, Mark, while I understand that there's going to be glitches and stuff, right, especially on something this huge, right, the issue that I have more than the glitches, I mean, first off, they should have done something like a test run and just done tokens for the prizes, right? So you can at least test the mechanics. But when there's a huge release that has been delayed days to get released and then is released an hour before the event, you would think that there would be some responsiveness from the company when we're finding these things, and there is not. There's silence.
Yeah.
That bothers me. That really does bother me because, you know, you're asking your customers to spend money, and they have issues and they can't get answers. They're not even acknowledged. That bothers me a little bit.
Yeah. Simply put, they should have just made bounty generation even when you're in a bubble. As long as you're bubbled and things are repaired, generate bounty. When you pop, people can take your bounty. Simple.
It would help, and I think if they had started that from the very beginning, there would be enough flowing. There would be enough currency floating in the game so that people could possibly get up to 20,000. I don't know, because the participation is so low. I don't know that they even still would be able to hit 20, but it would help.
Well, you'd be at 12.4, wouldn't you? So you don't have to get 6K, wouldn't you, to get the 20? But the point is, it's not just the 20. We're stuck on this figure of 20. If you want those holes and you want the weapon to go on it and you want the special,
yes,
it ain't 20. It ain't 20.
That's why I'm saying I think the intent was supposed to be that, you know, the top 10% of the players engaged in this would be at well more than 20,000. I'm just saying that given the current circumstances, people aren't even going to hit that. You know, it should be probably about 40, 50 should have been the top player, right?
Yeah, I mean, even with
it's 15K.
Not
15K.
Get that much. You're going to get hit every 3 to 4 hours. You're only going to have like 300 to 500 bounty that can be taken from you, or unsecured that's going to be able to be taken from every 3 to 4 hours. As long as you're got your stuff repairing, you should be able to do that.
So if you wanted the two new hulls, right? Say you're the very top player, and the very top player should be expected to be able to get one of everything, right? Except you can't get 3 of the courages, right? I mean, that's, let's see, 20, 25, 30, 37. I mean, yeah, it's almost 40,000 points.
Never going to happen.
It wouldn't even happen if they had the generation going 24/7. That's what I'm saying. Is it just it's not, the currency's off. The currency is just off.
And with no NPC bandit bases to hit at all yet. And
has anybody seen those? The bandit bases?
No, and they popped up.
Yeah.
They weren't in the original release notes. They popped up.
I haven't seen anything.
Yeah, I haven't.
What are
I'm
those?
behind the
I've seen
times.
it mentioned.
Yeah, I'm behind the times. Robin, what are they? I don't know. Yeah.
There are, because, you know, I mean, we include everything in the notes. And then I was out there looking last night, and then all of a sudden there are now these, they look like mini outposts that are supposed to be randomly spawning around relay towers, and 85 is worth 50 bounty, 95 is worth 100 bounty, but I've yet to see one.
Yep.
Yes,
What?
it's in the notes. It's in the notes.
Holy shit!
I saw
really?
somebody mention that. Somebody mentioned those in forums, and I'm going, "What the heck's a bandit base?"
Yep.
So they're supposed to be around the relay towers, and they're supposed to look like just like
They look like a
little
mini
base,
white
or-
OP. Yeah, mini white old OP.
I'm looking now. I've got 20 relays marked up, so I'll jump around and see if I.
Yeah,
I've
I've
not
not any in my sector.
I'm just laughing to myself. Sorry, I've just logged in the game, and there's a certain player. When did we start this, Brian? When did we start this? An hour ago now.
Yeah,
And
it's
Still sitting outside my base.
Oh, it's like 2 hours ago. Yeah.
He's still sitting there. And I said to him, I said to my PM, I went, come back in 4 hours, mate, because I'm not popping this. I've got the show to do and some bits and bobs. So I said, but basically, I'm done. And his fleet's still sitting outside my base.
The other thing too is right before it started, they actually changed the bubble to 4 hours, which I'm happy with because originally it was 3 and it was originally released as 3.
Oh god!
So that was changed right beforehand, and then the other thing that was changed, which is a good thing, was that originally they had stated, I think on their show, was that if the OP was damaged, then you would not generate bounty. And they changed that so that if the OP was dead, as long as you didn't have your bubble, you still generated.
Yeah, that's not working though.
Oh my god!
Yeah. So
I wonder if that thing was the mini OPs was a ruse. I'm not sure because I've just looked now. I've just gone through 15.
I see an image and I see an explanation in the notes.
Well, I've just hit. Is there a time segment for it? Maybe.
Maybe
it is random.
Monday
From
only.
time to time, you may see bandit occupied bases.
For 5 minutes every.
What is time?
Oh man, if it's only like once or twice a day on certain hours.
I'm not sitting here for the next 4 days.
Jesus. Yeah, that's. I'll bet you that's exactly what they meant though.
Oh my god, no.
Now, do you know two things I just thinking, and two ways we can almost fix this. You must achieve a certain amount of points, and it's not the points automatically mean that converts straight to prize points. But if you just say, right, you have got to achieve so many points and hit so many markers in 4 hours per day. And then you can sit down and just go, right, my clock starts now, I've got 4 hours. And if they were these magic marker bubbles, around the things, they pop up and that sort of stuff, and they give you like the potential of getting 2/3 of it, and everybody else has got it that you can get it in from their own bases. So you can do a bit of NCP work and a little bit of base hitting, and then the clock stops at 4, and that's it, you're done. But
so you only play for 4 hours.
But you only play for 4 hours. That's it. You sit down, you do a 4 hour stint, and that's it. It's finished. Up to 4 hours. And so it's like a ticking clock. So you just go out there. There's NCP bases turn up randomly in your world somewhere. You've either got to find them. Okay, then. Well, the other people are on that 4 hours as well. Okay, so there's some random bases that turn up, or you can actually go and hit some other people that have also clocked on in that 4 hours. So the constant clock, because you went on at 4 hours and somebody else will be coming on at 4 hours and 1 minute after you. So your targets will always change. There'll always be live targets because they've just come on as well. And also then, by the time I finish my 4 hour segment, those NCPs can come up again later on. It won't matter to me. There's no point in me touching them because my 4 hour segment's finished. That could sort of work. Or could it not? I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds like a reasonable thing to me. And
I haven't got to sit here for 9.5 hours.
It would be nice, but it would limit the amount of money that people spend, and that's not what Kicks is about.
Well, they've already killed themselves on that one because.
Well, yeah, they've already killed themselves, but
there's a whole master alliance in this game.
Deeper.
Yeah. I've just seen a mega alliance, one of the biggest in the game, and none of them have made the point today. They're not there, not one of them.
Yeah, I think there's a big. They have to. Kicks has to do a couple of things, and they have to do them quickly unless they want this to completely fail. The first thing that they need to do is obviously address the bugs with assigning bounty and that kind of stuff. And those are somewhat forgivable. It's new calculations. If the moon is full, the tide is high, tied to metal coating. I don't know. That can probably be fixed.
Math is actually pretty easy, especially when it involves 20%. And a simple time rate.
It depends. But anyway, so that needs to be addressed as part of bug fixes and repairs, what have you. The other thing that needs to happen is that Kicks needs to make a decision as to whether, do I want all of the players to participate in this? Do I want just the big players to participate in this? Do I want everybody to have a chance to be able to get something, even if the something is small? My prize list is pretty much closed out except for the higher ones, but there are a lot of lower to mid-level players that would kill for a glacial tart. Do I want those players to be able to play? Do I want them to have an opportunity to be able to get those with some effort, maybe with a little bit of coining, but do I want them to participate? If the answer to that is yes, then Kicks needs to step back, take a look at the concerns that have been raised, not only by us, but also by the people on the forums. And then they need to sit down and say, okay, how can we change this so that we can stop people from being, baby seals from being clubbed, but yet maintain it and make it hard enough for the higher level people to where they have to go out and earn it, but make it to where they can always earn it and they're not just sitting there with no targets because everybody's base is dead or everybody's in a bubble. And then they also need to take a look at the way that the bounty generation is done. And I think how they handle that is going to dictate how the next one is going to be perceived with respects to participation, because right now everybody's angry, everybody's cranky, everybody's frustrated, and if they don't deal with this properly, then this is basically dead before it even gets out of the gate.
Well, it's actually getting worse than that because they haven't even acknowledged anything. I mean, that's the part that bothers me, is that this is imploding, and Robin has it on the button. By Monday, if nothing's done, there's going to be a lot of coining their bigger players pissed off, and that's not what you want to do as a company. You don't want your best customers pissed, right? Yeah. But the thing is in the interim, they're not even acknowledging the issues. We haven't seen a single response from them.
Maybe they're waiting to see what the metrics are at the end because people can join. I don't know. I certainly wouldn't expect everybody to work over the weekend. I know that tickets are getting answered. They may not be getting the answers that you want, but I know that they are responding to tickets. But I'm not willing to say, if you don't do something by Monday, then you're hosed. But I would expect that they need to step back, take a look at it, look at the information provided, look at the metrics, look at the stuff in the game, look at all of the tickets that everybody's put in there, and then at some point here, relatively quickly, they need to come out with something. I wouldn't say it has to be Monday, but it has to be very soon.
It's got to be very soon. It's got to be sooner than Monday. They've got to get in there, or this thing will implode on itself. It's already started. People aren't participating. They don't want to participate. They knew it was going to be a clusterfuck, and that's exactly what we've wound up with. This thing is not working, and they don't want to do anything about it. They can't come in and say, okay, everybody that participated, we're going to grant you 10,000 points, because then the other guy sitting on the sideline say, hey, I knew this was going to be screwed up. That's why I didn't get in.
Yeah, but the problem
we're going to do this.
The problem with that, though, yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but the problem with that, though, Rum, is if they come in there and say, okay, the event hasn't finished. We haven't even gone through the first changeover today with respects to where everything, gets reset. So I can't say that the solution is to come in now or and it definitely wouldn't be fair to come in Monday, 4 hours before it finishes and say we're going to do this, because then those people that actually work or have lives or are not going to be able to be in the game may potentially be at a disadvantage.
I'm one of them. Right? So this goes back to what you and I talked about a month and a half to 2 months ago when we were talking about items being introduced into the game broken. This is a perfect example. This could have been one of the biggest things that Kixeye has done if it would have come off right to keep people back into PvP. This is just a cluster. There's nothing good about this. There is no good resolution. They can't come in and say, okay, we're going to give the top half of points earners the hull. The hull is too important in this game at this point for them to just randomly reward it to people.
And that's why I'm saying they can't knee-jerk react in the middle of the event. I mean, we know there are issues. We know there are things that were not brought out properly up front, or either by design or by ignorance or by just not knowing the answer. We know there are issues, and so they can't just knee-jerk and try and fix something before Monday or on Monday or during the redemption period. And that's why I'm saying
what they need to do in order to make this right is they need to put this hull in a gettable TLC for every freaking member of the Battle Pirates world. That's the only fair solution.
The problem with waiting for the metrics and stuff like that, right, and not jumping the gun is the problem is the math is not working. Like, the math is not going to work to what they intended this event to be. People are not going to even hit.
I'm just going to interrupt for a second. My daily goal, all of my unsecured bounty just fell off of my screen.
Yeah, mine too.
What?
Just checked.
What?
Yeah.
5 minutes ago, yeah.
That's it.
What?
Yeah, mine's gone.
Oh.
So,
Whatever I've locked. It's just what I've locked. That's it.
Wait, how much secured do y'all have now?
So
I've got
I managed to
secured
get to
bounty
level
of
2.
What the hell?
So I managed to get to level 2. My unsecured was 1,325, and I've just lost a lot.
Now, see, mine is different.
Check your daily checkpoints.
Actually, you know what? Looking at the daily tab, I had over 750 unsecured bounty, so it moved 750 into the secured pile. So I now have 1,500 secured and 152 unsecured.
And mine is 2850.
When I'm done with this fight, I'll look, but I should be at 0, I guess.
No,
so it looks like they're taking today's balance, and if you have enough, you're reaching the first checkpoint for the next day.
Okay. Toxic says his has gone to secured. Right. Now mine has. I've literally logged in.
If you look at like Robin said, if you look at the top and click over to the daily goals and look at the bottom, you'll see that what they did is they secured some more.
Yep, see, now there's a good thing.
So but it's at 750 again. So what they did is they're making the daily goal 750 instead of.
Right. So what's happened? Yeah. So just to explain that, so if I had 1,300 and something or other, they've secured me my checkpoint number 1 for tomorrow already, because I was already at 13 something. So I've hit the 750. I've now got 624 sitting there now, going towards checkpoint 2 of the 1,350.
Yeah.
So,
so that's a good thing. So, we're not losing bounty, and if you've got enough to hit the next checkpoint when the clock ticks over, then we're getting credit for it.
Okay.
Right. And that's one of the things we discussed earlier. But that, like I was saying though, is they can't wait to see the metrics because the math doesn't work, right? There's no one that's going to get this main prize. No one's going to hit 25, or what is it, 25,000 points? Whatever it's supposed to be, right?
12,150 for one.
Well,
Right.
I'm not
20, right?
necessarily saying that, from the metrics perspective. What I'm saying is that they can't knee-jerk and change something with respects to. No, they can't just go in today and say we're going to award this hull to all of these people, because they have not even yet had the ability to go back and look at all of the stuff that's been provided to them and say, well, George is owed 800 in bounty, Robin is owed 500 in bounty. If they knee-jerk
they have to do something, otherwise it's gonna. There's no one's going to win the prize. That's the problem.
Right, George. I get that, but there's this issue, right? The amount of people have already now dropped out or will drop out in the next couple of days because they've you can't then do it right at the end and turn around and go, what they need to do is, as you said, they want a weekend duty bod on to turn around and have the balls to turn around and go, right, we've changed our minds. Okay, it's not now 20K. We've
cut it by a third.
It's a third. Yeah. It's now a third.
Cut it by a third or
please
triple everyone's points.
We understand now. We've put the prize list up at too high a value. It's now 1/3.
Yeah.
Or half or whatever. I don't know. But
doing something. That's what I mean. They have to do something before Monday.
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
But it has to be now, right now, not Monday, right this second.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You can't wait for the
leaderboard for me.
If they do
our
it,
sector.
okay, well, then let me ask you this: if they make that decision now and they say, okay, we're going to cut the hull to 5,000, what now is to stop everybody from joining in and racking up that 5,000 for all of those players that have already spent, and us included, the time and the money trying to bat backwards and forwards and get this stuff?
Because we're going to still have the opportunity to get even more points. So they might be able to come in and get the 5,000 for one prize. We're going to be able to get all the prizes that we want, because the currency is going to be there for us to do that, right? Or if they say they triple the points that we have to try and bring it up close to what they have set for the prices instead, they start new people at 1,500, right? You get 750 unsecured. Well, they'd have to do it a little bit less than 1,500.
No, what I'm saying is that people are going to game the system. If they were tomorrow, or let's say today, if they came in today and said, okay, it's going to cost 5,000 for the people that did not participate originally in the bounty, may now be enticed to, because of it's a lot less points, and I could go in there and sit in my bubble with my dead base and just continuously pop and generate.
But that's not working. That's the thing. I mean, the mechanics are still going to be the same unless they change something. So they're going to be at the same disadvantages that we've had since Friday, but we have a jump by 2 days because we started, right? They're not going to have the opportunity to get up that high.
I'm not 100% in agreement with that.
They'll be time constrained. Well, they can't generate when they're in the bubble. And
no,
people are
but
getting
if you've
bubbled.
got a high-level player that hasn't participated already, and let's use Mark, and let's say me, I haven't joined, and not that I'm a high-level player, not that I can drive, but let's say Mark's already spent 730 gold trying to get to his point. I come in there and now I can generate enough to get one ship.
How are you generating it?
What generate or stealing it, going out and hitting bases. I can come out in later and opt in late and say, okay, I'm going to go out there and hit these and get my 5,000 points. Now, yes, Mark can get, let me finish. Let me finish. Mark can still get more points and he can still get 15,000 points for his ships, but I may only have to spend $10 to go out and get the first ship versus his 73.
How?
Or 730.
See, the thing is that doesn't make any logical sense because you're starting at the 500 just like everybody else, right? You're going to be getting hit just like everybody else. In order for you to keep on going up the ladder, it's because it's the same ladder. The ladder has not changed. You still have to spend the same amount of money to get up that ladder to get to the same points. And you're time constrained, so you're probably going to end up having to spend more rather than less. You're at a disadvantage starting late. Unless they change something. You see what I mean? Because you start at 500 and say they come on and they hit Mark, right? And they take 250 bounty from him, right? And they automatically get up to that 750 for the first bit.
And I'm banked. That's now secured. Nobody can take that from me. So
now,
then I get to the second level and I do it right before the end and I bank up
But how are you going to get to that? How are you going to get to that second level?
If I go out and if I get the first level and I go out there and hit extra bases and I go out there and do that and I'm able to do that. I'm not saying it's everybody's going to game it, but what I'm saying is that I could potentially, if they lowered the price of the prize, I could potentially come in on late, start late, and I could potentially go out there and smash the crap out of bases. If I was a level 129 and I knew it took 20k to go ahead and get 2 hulls, and now I know it only is 10k to get those 2 hulls, I may be enticed to come in and go in and spend a little bit of coin and smash bases.
But how are you going to get the points? That's the part that I don't understand, because you're still limited by the same things that we're limited to now. You have to find bases that actually are not leveled, have bounty to take. You have to pay for your baser on the map. You'll have to pay for your base if you want to have it not flat. You can't generate while you're dead or bubbled. It's the same limitations.
It is, but I mean, technically, I've just banked enough now. If I did this 4 times, I've banked enough to get 1 hull, because I'm going to have just over 12k if I was to keep going, that sort of stuff, But I'm
Are you going to keep going?
Right. That's the catch. That's the catch. And you would have to keep going if they cut the prices in half, right? And we're still under the same system, Mark. You're gonna have to spend another 730 gold, right?
It ain't happening, mate.
Right.
I mean, some of that was saying,
but I'm saying you would still have to spend another 730 gold. If someone were to start today or even tomorrow morning, they're still gonna have to spend the same amount of gold.
And a lot of whatever's locked for the day is not there today. So yeah. No, I hear you. Right. I just want to pause, stop. It's like herding cats tonight, which I knew it was going to be.
I'm on.
Okay. So Venom, you there, mate?
When's the catnip?
I am indeed.
I want you to talk through this, buddy, for me, if you wouldn't mind.
That's no problem. That's what we were talking about earlier, where the base has healed itself. That's not one that's healed itself. That's a base has got 99%. It's left a few buildings around outside. Basically double tap a base if they're out hitting. So say you notice that they've just launched a fleet, wait until they're out a little bit, hit their base, take the first amount of bounty, but don't kill everything. Just get to the point where, I suppose you have to kill everything to get the 100% to get the next star, but you'll end up getting bounty off a base that should, in theory, be dead, and you shouldn't get any points from because the op's dead. According to their system, if the op's dead, you don't get any points, but that's not 0.03%. That's 3 buildings. That's 184 more bounty for nothing.
Yeah, and you ticketed them on this, didn't you?
I ticketed them on flattening bases, but getting no bounty, and that's what they're saying there.
Okay, we'll leave that up so people can read it and that sort of stuff. So if you can see that, you can see that.
The main point there is about 5th line down, where they said all players affected by this will get 150 unsecured bounty. That's it. So if you've hit 20 plus bases, got nothing, you're only getting 150 for it. That's it.
And on top of that, they didn't. It looks like if you were ticketing about the screenshot you took earlier, they didn't even answer the question.
Oh no, I sent them a video. I don't think I can play it, but
that's a copy and paste response because I got the exact same response.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's standard, isn't it?
CS doesn't count.
Anyway,
CS was
familiar.
CNR.
It's familiar. Right, okay. I don't know if we've exhausted things now. I'm pretty exhausted just talking about it. Yeah, it is what it is.
Look, I want to say this thing actually has a whole lot of potential. Like, this could have been so much damn fun. I just wish that next time, Kixeye, if you're going to do something like this next time, do it with something like Just Tokens so we could do a dry run, right? Because if it's that, and we know that it's not going to be like something really, that we need, okay, we're not going to get upset if it doesn't work. Not as upset as we are now. So give it a dry run. Let us get familiar with it, right? See how it works and everything. And if we enjoy it, guess what? We're going to tell everyone that we play with, come on and participate. Because right now, that's not what we're telling everybody.
Well, we did, but unfortunately, at least I did.
I blame Robin.
That's a huge thing. That's a huge thing for me. I mean, I put myself out there and said, hey, everybody, give this a go. You're not supposed to be able to get farmed. This is supposed to be something that everybody can participate in, and it's not going to be the arena tournament where, big players can tank down and beat up on the little guys. And I have a real problem with that because it's like, you have an opportunity. People were excited. I mean, I had people excited in my world and had people hit me up, and even the responses on the article. Oh wow, I can go do this. Maybe I can get something. And
credibility.
Sadly,
You've lost your own credibility. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can
Even
handle
though
the
it wasn't
hate,
your
but-
fault at all, and Kix kind of withheld important information.
Robin, remember the conversation we had when they changed the Gridiron monolith 2 days before the raid?
Yep.
I know exactly how you feel.
Yeah, no, and that's okay. And I don't, but what I'm more mad about is not so much that I put it out there and it was wrong and nobody said anything. Was that I'm more mad because we need to keep players in the game. We need the little guys to grow into the big guys, and the little guys and the non-coiners are, there's nothing for me. I have to coin. I have to spend $1 gazillion. And I was so excited about this because it was like, you don't have to. You don't have to coin. You don't have to go out. You don't have to be worried about getting hit every 5 minutes by a level 129, And so I'm disappointed more than anything else because I pushed this, others pushed this, and it was really an opportunity. And I'm hopeful that it still is an opportunity. If they step back and take a look at it and think, okay, all right, the whole thing was you're not supposed to hit down. How do we engage these players? And I had a guy in my alliance that said, he told me today, he said, I quit, I'm not doing it anymore. He put coin on and he was willing to spend a little bit, but I don't know. I'm hopeful that they take what we say to heart, and it's not just a bunch of players ranting for the sake of ranting. But think of the big picture, Kicks. Think about engaging everybody. The more people that are playing and are having fun, the more they're going to participate. And then if they can get some of this stuff and do some of the things, it doesn't have to be the highest prize, but if they can get a little bit of something from it without having to spend $50 for getting farmed all day, those folks are going to be happy and they're going to be more inclined to potentially coin. So end run, sorry, and I have to apologize to everybody, but I'm sorry.
No, you do
That's
not have
a
to
good.
apologize to everybody.
That's all good points. I mean, that's all good points. And Kix out. I mean, look, Kix, if you are actually watching this, because I know eventually someone will, just free advice: get somebody somewhere to get the hell on the forums or on the pages and start responding to some of this crap, or at least address the community, because right now, this is the toxic atmosphere that you guys are alleging that you don't want.
And
so
you are creating it.
take her advice, listen to what she said, listen to what I said, and get on and say something to us. We're waiting.
Right. Okay. I'm going to say Rue back in your corner. Okay.
Yes, sir.
George, hush down. Right.
Never.
So from the last minute, I'm going to take. Okay. I think the event should have had free instant repair dock, and I think the base should have been repaired free. That's my gut feeling. And then if you want to fix your ships and you want to fix your guard, that's up to you. That would have enticed a lot more people into the game. You know, it's not right when you're spending an X amount of coins to fix a base fleet, X amount of coins to fix a base, because you can't generate, so you've got to be fixing things. You're not going to let your base just open up the bubble when you haven't got a guard in it, because that's ridiculous. And then you want to be going out and doing fixing ships, which is great. And there's 2 slots for that, but it's still costing you full cost and not half cost. So that's another incentive you could do. You could do half cost.
That's not a bad idea
as well.
Can you repair docks with a repair token now?
Nope.
Still no? Okay.
And
Sorry,
the
just
last
to
point,
get that jab in.
The last point. The last point I'm going to say before I log off tonight is next time I really suggest you put the I want to join button so far away from when you bring up your fleets.
Hell yes.
To where the launch button is, because I think you've been goddamn sneaky. It's in exactly the same place where the normal launch button is, and it needs to change color. It needs to be in a different place, not in the bottom right-hand corner, because several people have started this that didn't intend to start it simply because they went to go and launch general PvE stuff. All of a sudden, they took part in an event and they never.
Or perhaps multiple confirmation windows, like screw your.
Are you sure?
Like,
yeah.
Are you sure? And like do that twice. Like this UI design is god awful. It's the same as when they had repair and relaunch right behind everything that said, okay, you know, like you found this, click okay. But if you click too fast, you in error, spend coin and repair and relaunch your fleet. Like that is Bush League. Like really broke that. That's like you're playing a poker game and you put the fold button under, like, if you try to fold before your turn, you click fold. But if you try to fold and it gets around to you click raise. Like, it's that level of stupid. That should never happen.
Look, I have a challenge for Mark. I want you to come up with a reason why that button should ever be on the launch button or on the launch screen for fleets. There's a challenge.
Challenge, like, accepted and ignored. So the reason you want it for fleets is you're launching fleets, so you're playing the game, and they want everyone who's playing the game to play this event. And they figure that maybe
it's sneaky. Sneaky.
It was done on purpose, man.
Oh, it's sneaky and stupid, and they borked it. But if you want a reason, I can try to give you one.
No, I wanted Mark to come up with a nice logical reason, because I can't come up with a logical one other than to you know, sneakily get people to participate. I mean it's logical, but I don't like it. And I don't see the logic. I mean, I can see it if it was in the, like, in one of the top corner buttons, right? Or the, you know, the big glowing disc that you got when on the left-hand side. But why is it on the fleet launch?
Exactly the same place where fleet launch normally is. And muscle memory, playing the game for 6 years. I didn't want to start that sort of stuff to start. I thought I'm going to go and get some base parts. I'm going to do some bits and bobs and that sort of stuff to my base before I start it. And the amount of times I nearly clicked that button, and I had to physically stop myself.
Man, I was like, I'm going to tell you. Yeah, I'll admit, that's how I joined Bounty. I was still undecided, and I was up really late, and I wanted to finish my FM, and it was well past midnight, and I hit the damn thing without realizing it.
Yeah.
Whoops. Yeah. That's not what I said, but
this is the, you know, deception and ungodly poor UI are really great ways to entice your players to join an event. Good job.
Right, on that note, okay, I'm just going to finish off. Peter, have you got anything you want to close with, mate?
Oh, well, I did have a couple of ideas that were bouncing around during the conversation. One thing that I was thinking was, what if they did sort of a weakest link style bounty banking system? Like, you could, like, for example, you can bank your unsecured bounty anytime, but as long as you have unsecured bounty available, it acts as a multiplier to your bounty generation. So on the one hand, you could bank the bounty you have unsecured, but you'd lose the multiplier, or you could take the chance of having the unsecured bounty stolen, but still retain the multiplier for your bounty generation.
Multiplier would go up at higher levels. That's interesting. I like it.
And the other one has just completely slipped my mind. It'll probably come back after we finish the show.
All right.
Okay, that's fine. Rum, what about you, mate?
Beta test. Get this stuff working before you even introduce it. I don't care how you have to do it.
I don't mind it was live in the game, mate. If it was like the gunboat one, just like there's no, just go play with this. Let's put it out to everybody in the game, that sort of stuff. It's going to run for 2 hours, and just go have a play with this for a second. You'll just get your normal medals and that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Everybody talks about metrics, and they do this. Man, they can put this out there. And this stuff, as big as it is, should work from the get-go.
Yeah. And the only way I can see it live, because it never works the same in their tests as opposed to the live game, because obviously it's the global thing. It's got to go through all the other servers that are all over and that sort of stuff. And that's why we've had a few issues, and that's some of the reasons we've had a few issues, I'm sure. But if they just put it out like the gunboat one, where actually it's not really costing you anything to take part, and it's not really real. You're not taking someone's real medals off. You're not doing it. Basically, the whole thing for 2 hours. FM's finished, that sort of stuff. Right, you're gonna have 2 hours of fun. Log in everybody between this time and that time, and go and have a blast.
So
you'd have to figure out some way, because for coining fleets and stuff like that. So they'd have to provide you with some fake coin or something.
If it was a false version, and just for 2 hours, I don't know, it was freaking 1 token or something like that. I don't know. And you'd opt into it by hitting drop down menu, opt in, play. Thank you very much. Up comes a new screen, and away you go. As the FAT used to sort of stuff. I'm not saying do a FAT, but it's the same sort of concept. It could be live tested then. All the bugs wouldn't be there, and then they could get some decent feedback from 10,000 people.
Yep.
Yeah, it's got promise, and it still has promise. I like I said, I enjoyed it. I went out and even though Holst was making me hit really hard bases, I had a lot of fun with it last night.
So what is the purpose of people leaving their bases dead? It shows up with a little gold icon on the side that you can hit them, but there's nothing there.
Because they're still out just continually hitting that, or they're looking for targets and they're not gone back into their base. And you can obviously get the target. You can get the points from the other person's base, but obviously no one can come and steal for you, unless
that's
you've got a 4 hour window to do that. Basically,
that's the theory.
You've got a 4 hour window to do that, because that's a normal thing on a Monday night. You go out and start hitting and get your ally points, and you just don't go back to your dock. You don't look at your dock. You don't look at anything at all. You just stay out. Someone can go into your base. They'll hit you once, but once it's dead, it's dead. That's it.
Yeah.
And that's the concept, basically. You can carry on hitting. Problem is, there's not enough targets to hit, because everyone else is doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I visited and ran out of 2 Grease Monkey crews today, and practically 90% of the bases were either dead or they were bubbled and that sort of stuff. And I even used the locator bar, up on the top of the screen, the points bar. Use that as well.
Yeah, that's a joke.
It was bad. Unfortunately. Mary Wynn, anything from you to close? If you're still awake, that is. I don't know.
If you want to see the video for what happened on Monday, if anyone hasn't seen it, I can show that now.
I don't know how it works. So yeah, we've tried doing a video before. You can give it a go, mate. But I can obviously share your screen if you want to.
Yep,
we can try it.
There we go.
I just thought I'd at this time take a quick video of the base, because it kept happening over and over and over again. But you can see it's pretty flat. If I skip on to the end, I've got nothing there at all.
Oh yeah.
But when you click on the base again, it's still showing up. That was the 133.
Yeah. I had
there's been a couple that did that too.
Is that the guy that I checked? Is that the guy that I checked the other night? Or was that from Mary?
I have no
Because
idea.
that's something I had a video that was sent to me last night, and I checked the guy's base because he was in my world, and the same damn thing happened.
I don't know if anyone discussed this exact error either. But there's a dead gate in here, and you cannot get past.
Oh, you're kidding!
Nope.
Oh, yeah,
No.
I lost
Good
100
Lord.
money doing that.
Ooh, that's not good.
Oh man,
16 on that one.
That's not good. That would
What
be really
happened?
annoying.
hell!
I want one of those gates.
No kidding. I guess I'm gonna have to go and build one now, huh?
I might have one.
My gate doesn't do that.
No,
My
wow.
gate
What did I miss? I didn't see what you're talking about.
Did you notice if they happened to have one, or was it 2 of them stacked one on top of the other?
Well, that's the point. You reckon they put one? No, I don't know.
I'm
All you can see was
The game won't allow it.
Yeah,
It
when
depends,
it's-
because you can set them inside base planner, right? Like I'm just thinking. I don't have one, so I don't know. But I'm just thinking of things that you could do to take
You know,
it.
let's not try breaking the game. Right, we're closing.
I've
Team
got two of them. You
bandit
cannot set them
occupied
on top
bases.
of each other.
If anyone's
Bandit
tried
occupied
putting-
bases are real, you guys.
If
I
anyone's
see it
tried putting
right
this-
now.
You saw one?
They're there. There's like 6 of them.
Say
Maybe
that
they
again,
just-
Brian.
Bandit
crap.
occupied bases are real. I saw like 6 of them by a tower.
Log in.
Oh wow! Hey, they're
I think they
there.
just spawned
By towers.
by
Holy
relay
crap.
towers.
What
So
is
they
By center
are.
towers.
Someone hit one live. Come on, let's see it.
Hang on.
Now
here
the
we go.
question is if you have a bubble and you hit one,
Do
does
you
that
lose your
mean that
bubble? Should we do this live on the show? Shall we?
Oh, yeah, Mark.
I don't
hit
have
it.
a bubble and I
I've
can
got.
go out
I'll
and
go
hit one.
live.
Go on then. Go on. We'll share rum because rum likes.
Screw
this
it,
sort
we'll
of
do it
stuff.
live.
Yeah.
Entertain us. Come on.
Right, you're on
Yeah,
present.
I'll
Rum.
show you.
Yeah.
Oh, you already got me on presenting. Do I need to present now?
Yeah, you need to present
Yes.
now.
You have to share your screen.
Normally I'd be watching, but I'm hitting
You would think Kevin would know this by now, right?
Oh, look at that team
Yeah,
speak.
yeah,
What have they been saying? What have they been saying? ESM is a not.
Oh, there's a note in comms. There's a note from Kixeye in comms that says the bases have spawned.
I don't.
There's
got
a
it in
special
comms.
note in there. Yeah,
So
check your
there is,
sector
yep.
comms.
I'm
Yeah,
looking
I
at my
see it.
sector
Good
comms.
man.
Wow, that's an easy base.
Come on, Rum. Share the right screen because you got the wrong one up there.
I'm there. I'm there. I jumped away.
I wonder if they're all different. Or
We still can't see your.
You got the wrong
Rum,
screen.
are
up
you
there.
in Rum? Are you in a bubble?
There's 2 different
No,
versions.
I'm not. And I am.
Are you using multiple monitors, Rum?
You're
No.
sharing the wrong monitor, mate.
Oh, I bet I am. I know.
He's
what's
taking too long. I'm
Look at
gonna
your
go hit
team
one.
speak.
Go for it, George, because I bought a.
Well, I ain't gonna
TV.
share my screen because if I try that, I'm gonna crash every damn thing.
I'll do it. I don't care.
Here's what mine. The
We
one.
should probably stop the show and just sack it, but you know, I don't mind. Who's doing one? Someone doing it now.
Well, I'm just peeking it.
I'm
I'm
in one.
in one.
Yeah.
But I can't share my big TV.
That's a lot of rets. Holy crap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot.
Oh, hang on. What's
Oh,
it?
Jesus, what the hell?
Look at all of his rets.
Yeah, it's just 5 rets and chain guns.
Rats and chain guns.
Is that the new chain gun?
I should hope not.
Kind of looks like it.
Do you think so?
Holy cow!
Here, I'll share again.
Did it make a mess of your base?
not
Uh, it's whatever it is. It's tough. They've got some seriously built
That looks
up
like
weapons.
New chain gun. The new gun.
I'm not
Oh, yeah.
sure if that is.
Oh,
new.
wow.
It looks more like the Maxim gun turret to me.
It does look like it, but that also looks like what the prize looks like as well.
That is.
Yeah, but they've definitely got a lot of thermal in there, so people can't mudglut them.
It's still possible.
What's the
what the price is.
range on the Ritz thermal again?
It should be 90 or 80.
What's the
Hold on.
range of a muddle missile with amphibious missile system again?
97, 900. Yeah.
Is somebody going to try and hit one just for fun?
I would,
Jesus.
but my
I'm
dog's
hitting
down.
one, and I lost a rage like really quick.
I just lost a pride like that. Those concussive turrets are not playing around.
Yeah, no, it just automatically
Right.
one hit shroud.
Really? You got one hit and that was it?
Now
Pinch
one hit.
missiles?
One hit is like 15/16 damage.
Christ.
What ship has a whole bunch of concussive deflection? I know Malice, but with those rets, the Malice would die.
That is actually a very good question.
Are they all the
Okay.
same size or are they all different sizes?
I don't know, but I have another question coming up. By hitting these targets and getting bounty, it's not going to be secured. Are we setting up to get PNLS and all the bigger groups all the toys they want, and we're still going to wind up with very little?
Oh, well, I don't know, mate. That's something
Because if I start getting a lot of points,
Probably.
they're going to come to me and say, "Oh, look, we can take all those points."
Were you bubbled? Did it pop?
No, I wasn't bubbled, but I'm going to die.
Okay.
Hmm.
I'm just going to move some stuff around here quickly. I'm just going to, because I can't play like that.
That's
If I have six,
Well, wasn't that fun?
if I have 6,000 concussive deflection, and and 33% splash damage reduction, and 50% turret defense. Let's do some math.
So they're really
Well, that-
painful.
I just took my mud gluts in, and at the mouth of the channel, I was dead.
Ouch.
From what?
Yeah. Ow.
Who knows from what? But I was dead.
Those things are more powerful than the chain gun we can win in this event.
Okay. Can people see my screen or not?
Hey, the level
Yes, we can.
85 does not have a guard fleet.
Can you see my screen or not? Am I shared?
Yep.
Okay.
So Survivor
but
is
I'm
11K concussive deflection.
The
Okay.
85 should be a walk for you.
So there's a 85 there. Okay, let's have a look at some, shall we? There's an 85, there's a 95, there's a 95.
There are only
85.
two. There's
I'm
85 and
I'm
95.
so-
95. Yeah, I'm trying to 95 right now, and
Yeah.
I've got the front of it cleared with my mud gluts.
The 85 is supposed to pay 50 in bounty, and the 95 is supposed to pay 100 in bounty.
Yeah, but
95 is spicy.
that means I might be actually better just keep churning these damn things out. If I can auto the 85s. How long do they stay up for? That's
Where does it say what they pay? I just see the level.
It's
on
in
the
the
release
in
notes.
the briefing.
Info. Okay.
okay. So
The
let's have a
question
look.
is what does it do if you're in a bubble?
So yeah, that's well. I'll look in a second to see whether I've popped or I've not popped.
How do they
So-
have?
In the center of this
Balls
one
of
here, there's
water.
just some bits and bobs.
What I'd like to know is what happens if you hit one of those bases while you're not participating in bounty hunt.
You
Still
Automatic
can take it
participation.
outside it. God.
Oh God, no! They would do.
Well, I'm not going to test it for science.
Yeah, science
Good.
has its limits, bro.
I'm not drunk enough to do that kind of science.
Hey, the chat says they can't see your screen.
Oh really?
You're sharing rooms, I guess.
Oh, you're still
on.
presenting runs.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, but then. So
Or
I think you just click your name. It should work.
should be now.
Hang on. Yeah, I'm seeing it now.
Okay, so I've just started on this one here. This is an 85. Okay.
Ooh, get out! Get out! Get out! Get out! Get out! Safe. Well, if I don't mess this up, I think Mudgluts can do the 95 for no damage.
Okay, mate.
I can show
That's
a 95 with pride now if you want.
Hang on 2 seconds. I'm just going to do this 85. We'll do one at a time. Let's not rush it. At least we've achieved something tonight.
Ask questions is
How did you manage?
wanted
No,
to
how did
achieve.
you manage
No
no
chill.
damage?
I can drive better than you can.
No.
it's a better build.
OMG hacks?
OMG hacks. I'm using the Kermie hack. Oh, crap.
I might have some fun
Let's see.
tonight.
Yeah, this will save it. But again, be careful with what you give the other guys points for.
Yeah,
Come on,
no, very
come on,
much
come
so.
on, kill it.
Did anyone find out if it pops your bubble or not?
I'll find out in a second.
I'll find out. Yeah, I'll find out in a second too, because I was bubbled.
Yeah, okay. So that's probably about
Just
what,
turn it
30-minute
up.
fix or something like
Yeah,
that. And you could probably mudglut this thing. But there is a couple of water channels there as well. So whether that glacier was on a water turret thingy, I'm not sure. So that was done and dusted quickly and roughly, but and
Hey, it
50. Yeah, okay.
I have a 95 up now if you want.
Yeah, okay. I'll take mine off. Hang on a minute, stop presenting and present to everyone. You should be on now, mate.
It is 42 hours.
A single pride. Let's see what happens.
There is a bug with prides at the moment. If nobody's noticed that if you get stunned, your prideful effect comes off.
No, they did not come back. That wasn't happening earlier today.
Wait,
Son
wait
of a
and see.
bitch.
It came back again.
Oh, that didn't stun me. Hold on.
I know someone had it happen to them last night.
I was watching for that because. You
I
know
saw a
what?
thread on the forum where somebody wasn't getting prideful even before being stunned, and he only had one pride in the fleet, and it was way far away from the rest of his fleet.
2 rets. That's going to make a right mess of that pride.
Yep.
Well, the 85 isn't too bad at all.
Yeah, 85 is okay.
It's that turret.
Dude, the 95s.
On island.
You can do this with mugglets.
I'll be trying.
Same.
Well, the thing is, if they're only out for a little while, though, then that's it. If they're out for the whole evening, that'd be great, you know.
Well, they spawn randomly
Yeah.
and occasionally.
You've got 15 minutes. 15
Look at
minute
that.
timer? Yeah.
The turret damage is mad.
Yeah, that concussive damage is real.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. You are definitely getting hit.
Only bad you can't retreat though while getting hit.
No, you can't.
Yeah, it's normal rules.
There it is. All right. Yeah, you can do this with mugglets without getting damaged.
Library, guys.
I didn't even lose my my gunboat.
You lose your bubble or no?
Let me get back here. I am.
Well, that must mean
I am still in my
officially
bubble.
suck at City.
Oh wow.
I am still in my bubble.
I'm still in mine as
Holy
well.
shit!
Here's
Nice.
Well, I know what I'm doing tonight.
Nice.
So, on that note, we're going to end the show because I'm going to be busy in a minute.
We ended the show on a positive note. Wasn't easy, but we got there.
I've got things to do.
I think that was pretty much the only positive note.
Please
Don't
don't
lose
take
your
them away.
bubble when hitting NPC bounty targets.
Yeah, I'm going to chase them all over the world. Right. Thanks all for logging in. Okay, then. And thanks all for those guys in chat. It was great fun. We ran over for an hour and a half. That wasn't too bad. Enjoy the rest of your weekend if you can. And if not, then go do something more important instead.
Have a good night.
Wow.
Anything else?
Yeah. Take
Just
care.
Good
for your portals to build count as something more important.
Anything. I don't care what it is. Right. Take care. Cheers.
Good night, everybody.
Have a good night, everyone.